Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle. For those of you who do not know me, hi, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by today. Today we are going to be talking about an indie makeup brand. It's called Makeup By Chey, and I am super excited about this because this brand is a friend of a friend's makeup brand, and the friend who recommended this brand is very into makeup as well. And I am super excited to play with these palettes. Again, the makeup brand is called Makeup By Chey, and she calls her palettes Chey Shadow palettes, which I think is super cute. So the palettes I have here are the California Dreamin palette. This has 16 beautiful shades in it. This retails for $28, and it is a very blue and purple kind of aesthetic, and something that I am very drawn to when looking for eyeshadow palettes. Then we have the I Don't Believe in Humans palette, and this is what it looks like. It is a rainbow palette, but something that intrigued me is this gray shimmer in a rainbow palette. I haven't really seen that before. This one retails for $26. I will have the store and everything linked down below so that you guys can go check it out. There are many different kind of eyeshadow palettes and different products there. She has glitters, different things, but today we are just going to focus on the eyeshadow palettes, and I'm going to go ahead and get right into some swatches. We are going to start with the California Dreamin palette. I'm going to go ahead and swatch each row and kind of show you what those swatches look like, talk about the texture of the eyeshadows as I'm going. And just a heads up before I do get into those swatches, I am going to be playing with both of these eyeshadow palettes on my eyes. I'm going to do one look on this eye and one look on this eye. So this video might be a little longer. So I do apologize for that. Just with my time constraints, I was not able to film two separate videos on these eyeshadow palettes. So I do hope that is okay. I would also like to remind you guys to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and leave a comment down below so that we can chat. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to start again with the California Dreamin palette, and this is what that beauty looks like. So I'm just going to go ahead and swatch, and I'll show you right here on my arm. The first shade is a shimmer shade. It is a very blue shimmer shade. Ooh, that is pretty. Then we have, I'm going to swatch the other ones in succession. Then we have, ooh, this matte is very kind of, it's buttery. I'm somebody who really likes the feel of a good buttery matte. So this is that first matte. It is a light kind of sky blue. Then we have this kind of, ooh, that is pretty. I'm going to build that up just a little bit so that you guys can swatch better. And then we have this beautiful shimmer there. Those are very pretty shadows. I think I'm, just by looking at the palettes, I think I'm most excited to play with this one just because I have so many different kind of rainbow palettes that this one really intrigues me. Going into the next row. And so far, all of the mattes feel really creamy in this palette. That's what the next row looks like. Ooh, that blue shimmer is very pretty. That. There's a purple, and here is a purple shimmer. Ooh, look at that. That's very pretty. Okay, now we're going to go into the next row, but I kind of want to talk about this next row. Am I the only one who sees this shade and this shade as the exact same thing? I'm very curious about that, so I think what I'm going to do is swatch those two right on my arm just to see how similar they are, because just looking at it visually in the palette, I'm not sure both shades were needed. So here's that first shade. And here's the last shade in that row. I don't know if it's gonna, I mean, they look slightly different. So there's the first shade. I guess it's a little more coppery. And there's the next one. I guess this one's a little more maroon and this one's a little more coppery, but just looking at them in the palette, they look so similar. I mean, look at those. They look so similar, and I just don't think both of them were needed. And that's just based off of looking at this. I guess when I got super excited when I purchased, so I didn't really pay attention to that. Now seeing it in person, I'm like, oh. Then there's the matte in that row and another matte These two purples are a little drier, so they have a much more kind of buildable texture. That's what I found. If the mattes in a palette are drier, they're buildable, whereas if they come off really creamy, they tend to be very, very pigmented. Wow, I just saw my eyebrows in the viewfinder and I'm sorry, you guys get to deal with these monstrosities. And then we're gonna go on to the last row. And the only reason I'm showing this is because, do you guys see that? Two black shades. One is a shimmery black shade, the other is a matte. We will see. I'm somebody who would have just preferred one or the other in this palette, not both. Here's the shimmery white. So that's that last row. That shimmery kind of silver white is very pretty. Wow, so that is the shimmery black that's in here. That is pigmented. Holy crap. That last one is the matte black, which I would have preferred. I much prefer a buildable black in a palette versus it being like boom in your face. And there is that last purple. So these are all of the swatches in the California Dreamin palette here. You guys will have to let me know what you think just based off the swatches. Leave a comment down below. I'm curious. I think this palette is very, very pretty. I'm going to go ahead and quickly wash off my arm, and then we are going to jump into the I Don't Believe in Humans palette. Okay, so now that my arm is all clean and prepared for more swatches, we are going to go into the I Don't Believe in Humans palette. And again, this is what this one looks like. It is a very beautiful rainbow palette with a unique kind of silver shade here that we'll just kind of see how this goes. This palette, I don't know if I specified, this one has 15 shades, while the California Dreamin has 16 shades. This palette also has names on it, whereas the California Dreamin palette did not. So we're going to go into the shade Extraterrestrial Stardust. That is a creamy matte. I Come in Peace, which is also a creamy matte, and Abduction, which is a very kind of dry red shade. So this one is Extraterrestrial. Ooh, that's pretty. That would be a pretty inner corner highlight. Then we have Stardust. Then we have I Come in Peace. Ooh, I am a sucker for those like pinky, orangey, kind of like bright tones. Then we have Abduction. Very pretty. I'm actually impressed with how well Abduction swatched. Then we're going to go into Unidentified, which is more of a orange tone leaning red. UFO. That is going to be a gorgeous shimmer. Probed, which this one's a more pastel yellow, and then Area 51, which is also slightly pastel leaning green. So this first one is Unidentified. Then we have UFO. Oh, that is a gorgeous yellow shimmer. And then we have Probed. I'm gonna swatch Probed again just to kind of build it up. It is very pastel. Then we have Area 51. Those are pretty. I really like this yellow shimmer, just based on the swatch. It swatches very similar to the yellow shimmer in the Jeffree Star palette I have in my collection, but almost better. I'll have to compare those two at some point. Then we're gonna go into the shade Crop Circles, which is also a very, very dry kind of, it's very dry to the touch. Then we have Alien Invasion, which is a shimmer. Galaxy, which is a shimmery purple, and Intergalactic. So this is Crop Circles, Alien Invasion, Galaxy, and then Intergalactic. This is really kind of fun. I'm curious to see, like, just based off of what I'm looking at here, like just how these kind of work on the eyes, like how pigmented they really are. So we have 3 shades left. I'm going to swatch them. Lightyear, it's a very creamy matte. Stellar, also very creamy. And Tall Gray is the silver in the palette. So there is Lightyear, Stellar, which is kind of a teal. Ooh, I'm a sucker for a good teal. And then we have Tall Grays. So there is So here are the swatches for the I Don't Believe in Humans palette. You guys will have to let me know what you think. I'm kind of curious based on the swatches which palette you would go for, so leave that in the comment section down below just to kind of appease my curiosity. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly go and wash those swatches off of my arm, and then I will be back. I will apply primer and then we will start to play with these palettes. Sit tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've zoomed you in closer just so that you're able to kind of see my eyes up close. I think the first palette I'm going to play with, just because this is the one I am most drawn to, is California Dreamin'. I'm going to play with as many shades as I can, and then we are going to get into the other palette. I'm just going to grab some brushes. I don't know, because each eye is going to be very different, which will be fun for future videos because I have like 3 to film today, so this should be good times. I have to remember that I'm only doing one eye, so less pressure. So I think I'm going to kind of play with the blues and the purple shades in this, and possibly the black. So the first shade I'm going to dip into is this one right here, and I'm actually going to use the mirror in this palette. Just gonna take it and kind of, oh, my eyeshadow primer. And if I forgot to tell you, the eyeshadow primer I used is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. That's just the primer that I have currently, and I'm trying to use it up, and then I'm going to be purchasing a different eyeshadow primer. So I'm just gonna kind of place this in and above my crease, just kind of packing it on, and then we're gonna buff it out. Okay, so now that that is buffed out, I'm going to go into the blue right under it, and I'm going to pop that right into my crease. And I'm just going to take that on this brush here. I don't know if I showed you the other brush, but this is the brush that I used previously. It's just kind of a smaller domed crease brush. So again, we're going to go into this shade right here. Just going to pop that onto my eye, just to kind of give it a little bit more depth. So I'm going to kind of messily apply it, and then we will go back in with a blending brush and just kind of blend it together, just so it gives my crease just a little bit more depth. And to blend it out, I'm just going to take this small e.l.f. eye crease brush, and I'm just going to kind of hold my brush as far to the end possible, just to kind of give it a feather light kind of blend out. And I'm trying to use kind of circular motions while going back and forth. Okay, once I have that blended just the way I want it to, I'm going to now go into this deeper kind of bluey purple, and I'm going to pop that into my crease and on the outer edge of my eye, and then I'm going to go in with this black shade. So in order to do that, I'm just going to take another e.l.f. This is a blending eye brush. I'm just wanting it to kind of pop on the outer corner of my eye. Some of you might think this is a big brush. I don't know. I use these brushes all the time to do this. Just going to place it. I also like this because it's domed and I can get a lot of product where I want it and kind of build it up. And then I'm just gonna go and slightly blend it out. So one thing I'm noticing right off the bat, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but that it's like not, it's kind of separating in my crease. It's not layering well. Try and get it to layer better. Okay, so once I have that product kind of where I want it, I'm gonna go back in with that smaller e.l.f. crease brush, and I'm just gonna slightly blend, just to kind of make everything merge. I don't know, do you see that separation in color on my eye right there? It's just something to note. And it could just be, it could be my eyes, it could be the eyeshadows. I'm not 100% sure until I play with this palette a little bit more if that is the case. Okay, so now that that is on my eye, we're gonna go ahead and take this angled brush. This is the Luxie Mini Angled Brush, and I'm going to pop some of the black eyeshadow. Now, I'm not going to go in with this one, the shimmery black. I'm going to go in with the more buildable just because that is my preference. I don't know how much use I'm going to get out of that shimmery black shade. Then I'm going to go back in with that purple shade and kind of blend those two together. Okay, once I have that blended the way I want, we're going to go and pick a shimmer. I think I'm going to go in with this blue shimmer here. That one right there. I think that one's perfect. To apply this shimmer, I'm just going to use this kind of flat Luxie brush. Nope, I think my husband's home. Okay, so this is the eye look with the first palette. I'm going to do the lower lash line and all of that in a moment because I want to do my base and everything. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do this eye here. So for that, we're going to go into the I Don't Believe in Humans palette. And I think to kind of complement this eye, since I went so blue, I think I'm going to play with all of the greens. This one's going to be a little bit different because I don't have like the black shade in this palette to give it that more depth. So we'll just kind of play and see what happens. So really quick, I'm going to grab some new eye brushes and we will get started. Okay, so now that I have my eye brushes, I'm going to start with the shade Area 51, that very green shade, and I'm also going to use the mirror in this palette. So I'm just going to take this on kind of a, this is the Essence Smoky Eyes brush, but it's similar to the e.l.f. crease brush that I used, and I'm just going to plop this on just because this is a lighter shade. First, let's get any creases out of my eyeshadow primer. Okay, so since that is done in the way I want it, I'm going to go next into the shade Crop Circles, and I'm going to take this brush here. It's slightly bigger than the other one, but not super big that it won't work for what I want. I'm just going to place this into my crease and then we will blend. I'm going to go in with a little bit more of the Area 51 and just kind of blend everything together. Okay, and once I have that the way I want it, I think I'm going to take the Stellar shade and I'm going to put it in the outer V and just slightly into my crease. And to do that, I'm going to use this small e.l.f. eye crease brush, just to kind of help place it accurately and hopefully give it that same kind of deepened look as the other side, just with green tones. Okay, I did slightly clean up this side as well as this eye here, and now we're just going to place the shimmer, which is going to be Alien Invasion. And to do that, I'm going to use this Alamar Cosmetics brush. It's just a very, very flat brush. Okay, and there are the eye looks so far. They're very, very different and very fun, and I kind of like them both on my face right now. So quickly, I'm going to go ahead and do my base, and then we'll finish up the eyes, and I'll chat with you about both of the eyeshadow products. I'm probably also going to do my eyeliner as well as mascara, and then we'll do the lower lash line in the inner corner. So I will be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and applied some black lipstick horribly. It is the Lunar Beauty Liquid Lipstick in Wicked that I have on my lips right now. We're going to go ahead and finish the lower lash. Everything else I used on my face will be listed in the description box below. So we're going to go ahead and finish the lower lash line. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with this palette here, which is the I Don't Believe in Humans, and I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to take Stellar and I'm going to run this along my lower lash line. Okay. Then I'm actually going to take the shade UFO here, and I'm going to place that in my inner corner. I thought it'd be nice to kind of give it a bright pop. That, and I just kind of want to see how this works in the inner corner. Ooh, I really like that. Gives it kind of a nice bright pop. So that is the eye look. Well, actually, I lied. We're gonna pop some black liner in the waterline because I feel like wearing black liner. Should have done that first. Ooh, I like how that looks. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna use that same black eyeliner in this waterline here. And then we're gonna go into the California Dreamin palette for my lower lash line. And we are going to take this blue right here. Yeah. And pop that on my lower lash line. And we're gonna pop that blue onto my lower lash line. Are you guys ready for this? Ooh. Also, my wings weren't feeling like looking the same, and I was not going to fight them. This one takes building up just a little bit more. Yes. And then, because I can't resist it, we are going to pop that white shade into my inner corner. See how blingy it gets. Also, just to note, I did not use any setting sprays or anything like that with these shadows. I just kind of wanted to see how they performed with my first impressions. Ooh. That's pretty. I am happy with how both eyes turned out. But after just using each palette, I think the palette that performed better is this one here, just based on kind of some of the trouble I had with the California Dreamin palette, even though I am more drawn to the color story in that palette. But you guys will have to let me know down below, which look do you like better? Do you like the green or do you like the blue? you'll have to let me know. I was so excited to try a new indie brand. I started my YouTube channel testing out indie brand makeup, and it has been so long since I've been able to, and I can't wait to play with these palettes some more. So yeah, you guys will have to keep an eye out because I am planning on doing a 3 looks, 1 palette video with each of these palettes and kind of play with them a little bit more before I do give my final thoughts. Sorry, I wanted to zoom you guys out a little bit. Just based off of my first impressions, I do think each palette is good. I do, however, wish that this one did not have some almost duplicate shades in it. I don't think you need both black shades, and I don't think you need both of these kind of coppery maroon shades. That's just my personal kind of thought on it. I just don't think you need both of those in a palette. And then with this palette, I do really like how creamy a lot of the mattes are. I like that you get a few pastel shades, a few of the brighter kind of shades. I think this is kind of a more, this is definitely a classic rainbow palette. And did I need another rainbow palette in my collection? Goodness no, but do I have one? Yes, I do. So there you are. There are my kind of introductory thoughts on both of these palettes. I will have both palettes linked down below, as well as the online store where you can purchase some Makeup by Chey and get some of her Chey shadow palettes, because she has many of them, and I think this is a brand worth checking out. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!